Good morning, stock traders, and welcome back to another edition of Stock Traders Talk Radio. I'm your host, Stock Sumo, and thanks for joining us on another magnificent Monday, August 27th, 2012, where we have an exclusive stock spotlight lined up. And doing today's stock spotlight is Haas. What's up, Haas?
Good morning, Stock Sumo. Glad to be back on the show. Had a fantastic weekend at the Jimmy Buffett concert out in
Oh
LA.
yeah, we both had an awesome.
Are you still there, Stock Sumo?
Yeah, don't mind me. I might come in and out on you. I got one of those fancy hotel connections.
You're out in Kentucky right now, is that correct?
I'm broadcasting live from Bourbonsville, Kentucky. Actually, it's Louisville.
Nice, man. That sounds good. I've never been down that way.
This is actually my first time down here. It's pretty interesting, but I'm gonna save the chit chat for a little bit later in the week. I'm sure we'll have some of the fun things that we did over the weekend to talk about when we have some free time on the show. But today we got a killer spotlight that I'm really pumped up for, and I'm gonna let you take it away.
It sounds good, buddy. All right, I'm going to start off on Pink Sheets, over-the-counter-markets.com today, and just get a general idea of the company we'll be spotlighting today. Firemans Contractors Incorporated. Ticker here is FRCN. F is in Fred, R is in red, C is in cat, N is in Nancy. And we see that the stock closed at 003 on Friday, which was down 18.92% on the day. It actually had a pretty big volume day on Friday, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Over-the-counter QB company, and just checking out some of the latest share security details down here. We have an outstanding share count as of May 10th, 2012 of just under 83 million shares at 82.9 million shares. Putting it at a market value of about $250,000. And the authorized share count we're looking at as of June 30th, 2011 is 200 million shares. All right, so just some basic information to start off right there. And next, I want to roll over to their website, which actually has tons of good information. I really like their website. Firemanscontractors.com is the website. If you want to go check that out and follow along. They got a couple of cool videos that you can play just to give a general idea of what this company is all about and what they do. But let's just go over the brief description here on the homepage. Firemans Contractors is committed to providing superior service in parking lot maintenance and construction services. Our services include road improvements, paving, seal coating, parking lot striping, pavement marking, asphalt maintenance and repair, ADA compliance, pressure washing, and other construction services. With Firemans Contractors, you get a quality experience at a competitive price. Founded by a fireman, our values reflect that of firefighters, which motivate us to achieve outstanding results as we deal honorably with our customers, communities, and each other. We support firefighters for safer communities by giving a portion, it's actually 1% of our profits, to local firefighter associations. All right, so we get a general idea of what these guys do. Parking lot maintenance and construction services, and they basically do anything and everything involved with that. The company was started by a firefighter, and this company is about giving back to the community as well. So they donate 1% of their profits to local firefighter associations. So it's pretty cool stuff. The company is mainly based in northern Texas right now, but they are expanding rapidly as they start to build out these franchise associations. So for the most part, it's been a central business down in Texas, but now they are offering up some franchising opportunities as they expand throughout the rest of the United States. So let's just check out this franchise package deal. You can go to the website. They have franchise up at the top there. You can click on franchise packages. And so this is how they plan to expand their business much more rapidly than they could through just solely organic growth. You see, we have some franchise fees here, and obviously for building out these franchises, they're going to take some royalties and some marketing fees. So they're going to bring some revenues in from that as well as the initial, excuse me, franchise fee up here at $35,000 for an investment range to start this up. And they're giving them an idea of what sort of capital they need to get going here. Obviously, you need tons of tools and equipment when you're doing parking lot construction related work, and also just the marketing in general. But I like the way this company's setting up these franchise packages. With these franchise packages, you get some pretty good marketing tools and also some different conferences where your business will be promoted through Firemans Contractors. And another thing to keep in mind with this particular type of business, especially as they build out franchise packages, is just the brand name in general. Firemans Contractors, it's something that people can really attach to. You immediately get the impression of like a sense of safety and comfort. These guys are going to do good work. They're affiliated with local firefighter authorities. Anytime you think about your local firefighters, you immediately think safety, someone you can trust, someone who's going to do what they say they're going to do and perform. So I really like the brand name that they're building here, attaching themselves with local firefighters, and also just the logo is kind of cool. It's catchy. So I think this could eventually take off. Let's see if there's anything else I want to check out on the actual site here. Let's just click on services, and I also want to go to the page just to show some of the clients that this company's been affiliated with. So if you go to the services link at the top of the website, you just click on that, and they give you a big list of the different services that they do. You can go check out the descriptions of that. But on the bottom of that services link, you can go to Our Clients and click on that. And you can see that these guys have done some parking lot services for some very, very well-known businesses. You got Bank of America, Microsoft, 7-Eleven, Applebee's, Prologis, Baymont Inn and Suites, Buffalo Wild Wings, Days Inn, Tyson, Pet Boys Auto, Lowe's, Nissan, just tons of well-known businesses, Kraft, Comfort Inn Suites. So these guys have been doing quality work, obviously, for lots of well-known businesses. So they're obviously legit. It's just a matter of expanding at this point outside of Texas into some other states. And this new franchise business focus will allow them to do that pretty rapidly. So why don't we check out their latest 10Q? I want to roll over to that. I always like to go through some quarterly reports, and let's check out what sort of revenues they're bringing in before they start this franchise stuff, and then maybe come up with some numbers for what sort of revenues they could be bringing in if they hit their targets on, I think it is like 300 new franchise locations within the next 24 to 48 months, and 5 new ones before the end of the year here. We saw some of the numbers on what it costs to start up a franchise location. If some of those really take off, those royalty fees will add up pretty quickly when you're talking about 300 to 500 new franchise locations. So let's just check out the latest 10Q. This was released in May, ending, I believe, for the March quarter of 2012. First things first, let's check out the balance sheet. Ending March 31st, 2012. Asset base, not really all that large, about what I would expect, $125,000. Really low in cash. Another thing to keep in mind as they've been raising money here, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. And then on the liability side of things, yeah, for the most part, you just have some loans that they're going to have to pay back at some point, whether that's convertible into shares or they just pay the interest. And sitting on about $1 million in total liabilities, $1 million. So a large liability to asset ratio, but it's about what I expect for sub-penny stock at this stage in its business, where they are, focusing on expanding pretty rapidly. And they're not quite at that stage where their revenues are and cash flow are outpacing the money that they need to expand. But share count, I mentioned the 200 million authorized share count. They do have some convertible stock, also some preferred stock, just to help raise some money on restricted shares. And they also have 80 million outstanding shares, roughly. I believe the number was a little bit higher than that on Pink Sheets, overthecountermarkets.com. But anyways, that's the general balance sheet. As far as revenues go, scroll down a little bit. You got ending March 31st, 2012, this latest quarter, they did about 102,000 in revenues. The previous year, they did $130,000 in revenues in that quarter. So actually, their revenues have been pretty steady over the course of just this last year, especially in the first quarter, the quarter ending March of 2012 versus 2011. They started screaming out of the gates. I think over their first couple of years, their revenues were increasing hundreds of percents, and now they're kind of stable, a little more stable. And that obviously depends on what sort of business is coming in. You know how the contractor business is. You're not always getting as much business as you were, the previous year. But this new franchising strategy will allow them to bump up these revenues quite a bit. So right now we're looking at about anywhere between 500,000 and $1 million in annual revenues for this company before this franchise idea came about. And we'll go to the press release where it talks about their first successful launch of their first franchise here and how many they plan to do in the future, which could bump up these revenues very, very significantly as they expand into some other states versus just Texas area. All right, another thing I always like to check out on the 10Qs are the management's discussion and analysis of operations. Another thing you want to check out here is just these convertible notes payable. Just get some details on that. Who are they, getting their loans from? As we've mentioned several times, if they're getting their loans from a Redwood or an Asher or something like that, you can fully expect the share price to probably go to crap at about the time of those conversions if it's a significant amount of money. But I didn't see any Asher or Redwood fundraisers or related companies. Most of it's come from either management itself or some other types of funds. But let's scroll down to the management's discussion and analysis, plan of operations. Plan of operation. Over the next 12 months, we will concentrate on the following 4 areas to grow our operations. As far as capital and funding goes, we will seek to obtain capital from all available sources, including bank financing, private sales of stock, and/or convertible debt. We expect income from operations and franchise sales to contribute to ongoing capital needs in the near future. All right. So immediately we know that they're not afraid to dilute, sell stock, use convertible debt. Basically, they're going to raise money in any way possible. They're going to attempt to do it in a non-dilutive fashion or in a fashion that's less detrimental to the actual share or shareholders, but they're not guaranteeing it. All right. Advertising and marketing is the next little bullet point here. We'll work with several marketing companies to develop brand identity, marketing materials, and update our website. Utilize all available marketing venues and public relations opportunities to promote the company and its products, services, and franchise system. Specifically, hire salespeople, use direct mail, as well as images on our trucks, trailers, and equipment, and also some marketing with major search engines, Google, Yahoo, Bing, and such. All right, so this is that brand name building I was talking about, how I really think this Firemans Contractors thing could really take off. I like the brand name. I think people can identify with it, and I think people can trust it, and it's something that they would want to use. So as far as this advertising and marketing goes, the company has been going out to several different types of conferences. You can read the recent press releases. They got a couple of names on there to really get that brand name out there and really market their company. And they also market their other franchise locations as well, now that they've started that. As far as sales go, the next bullet point on here, grow its core business in North Texas and expand in other areas. Franchise development. begin marketing the Firemans Contractors franchise concept and licensing of companies' service marks with the short-term objective of establishing 5 new franchisee candidates during 2012. So they're looking for 5 new franchisee candidates throughout 2012 here. We'll go to the press release where they just did the most recent one. And I think this is everything I wanted to take a look at on the 10Q. Obviously, make sure you read through all of it, but this one would take forever. There's a lot of details in this one. All right, we're rolling off. No more 10Q. All right, let's roll over to the iHub press releases. And we will go to the first franchisee launch press release first. This one was released on August 7th, 2012. Firemans Contractors Incorporated, a commercial contractor offering franchises and commercial services in the pavement and parking lot maintenance industry, announced a successful launch of its first Firemans Contractors franchise. Station 1, the franchise was launched in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and began operations on July 1st, 2012. The company held an official ribbon-cutting ceremony on July 14th, 2012 to commemorate the event. All right, and if you read through the rest of this press release, it gives some details about these franchise idea in general. Obviously going to help expand this company into other states, as well as increase their revenues pretty dramatically. I think they're already approved for franchisee locations in Florida. So we should be looking for something to come there in the near future. So franchise location is basically their new business strategy to expand. And let's roll over to the next press release related to some significant funding that this company could potentially tap into. This was actually released this last Friday on August 24th, 2012. Firemans Contractors Incorporated eyes $1.7 billion TIFIA program expansion launch of franchise model. Let me actually go down to the press release portion. That's all mumbo jumbo. Firemans Contractors Incorporated, commercial contractor offering business-to-business commercial franchises and services in the pavement maintenance and parking lot maintenance industry, announced today that the company will leverage its newly launched franchise model to bid on $17 billion in TIFIA projects. And TIFIA stands for Transportation, Infrastructure, Finance, and Innovation Act. So basically a government act that provides funds for different types of construction projects, allowing the company to possibly secure an additional profit center, potentially valued in the millions of dollars per annum. Quote, "We seem to have initiated our franchise model none too soon," stated Renee Gilmore, CEO. "New government initiatives are creating more opportunities for mid-sized companies like ours to secure lucrative infrastructure contracts nationwide. Using our franchise model to promote rapid expansion, we could be more readily available anywhere in the country and possibly more competitive than larger non-franchised operators." Looks like this TIFIA program, this large fund for transportation-related construction companies, is very large, $17 billion, and it looks like it's going to grow over the next couple of years too, if you read the rest of this press release. Firemans Contractors already working with, some large Fortune 500 companies, also noted down here. I think this fund would be perfect for these guys. So if they could secure even a small portion in a form of a grant or some sort of really low interest rate loan, that's exactly what these guys are looking for, especially as they plan to expand so rapidly with this new franchise idea. So definitely going to keep my eyes out for some press related to some fundraising through this TIFIA program in the near future. I'm not sure what sort of timeline we're looking at as far as when the company will find out as they bid for some of these funds, but we'll see. Just I'm trying to think if there are any other press releases that I want to go over. Not really, just another thing to note, some of the different conferences that they've been going to over the last month or two here. They're obviously ramping up their marketing efforts and building out their brand name quite a bit. Uh, and the company's not, like doing bad or anything. They've been operating at a net loss for the last few years since they've launched, which most of these smaller mid-sized companies do, and they're starting out. But they're bringing in a decent amount of revenues between $500,000 and $1 million a year. And now they're just getting to the point where they're just kind of, go as is and keep raising funds every once in a while, or they, try to blow it out. And that's what I think they're trying to do with this franchisee idea. So I really like what they're doing. And it sounds like they could have a nice source of potential funds to make it happen more rapidly with this new TIFIA program and stuff. I think that's about it. Let's roll over to DD Amanda. Check out the dollar volume action. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to go all the way back to, I want to check out what's happened after the latest quarterly report just to see if we have any signs of dilution or anything like that. The latest quarterly report said we had an outstanding share count of about 80 million shares, and that was the quarter ending March 30th. So right after that, we see some decent volume days. The stock was trading around 6-7 cents back in late March, early April. And you got some pretty high volume days, stock not moving a whole lot. And then all of a sudden, you get a couple of high volume days where the stock really breaks down, starts to sell off quite a bit. A little bit of dilution definitely going on right there, and or some convertibles hitting the float that were already sitting in the outstanding share count. And then for the most part, the stock just really dies down throughout all of May, all of June, really low dollar volumes, nothing close to the month or two before that. And we are officially sub penny as this thing just kind of slowly dies and sells off, mostly on, $5,000 to $15,000 days, a lot of $0 volume days. And then just recently, last week, go figure. We've definitely seen some promotional newsletters out on it, so it's garnering some attention. Last Thursday, August 23rd, we have a $16,000 day. Before that, it wasn't even close to that since back on June 25th. So getting a little bit of attention. Didn't really close up all that much. Closed at 0035 the day before that. Closed at 0037 on Thursday. And then on Friday, August 24th, get $114,000 traded, and it closes down at 003. All right, so what's the first thing that comes to your mind right there? They're diluting, right? Either dilution or some sort of convertibles hitting the market. You have 30 million shares traded, and the stock goes down significantly. Definitely not what you want to see if you're a current shareholder or a shareholder looking to get in, or if you're looking for a quick trade opportunity. But if they let the stock move, this thing can really move it. You can just look at some of the volatile share price swings on some of the lower dollar volumes before that. So if they quit diluting, this thing can move, because I think they got some good news to put out. And there's definitely going to be some eyes on it this week. I'm assuming they have more press line for this week, just related to some of the mailers that we've been seeing going out and stuff like that. So it's one you're going to want to keep your eyes on. If they're done diluting, or the convertibles are basically done, or this big seller is done, this thing can really move, and I think it'd be a good trade opportunity. But that's about all I can say about the dollar volume action. They've been diluting a little bit, and hopefully they're done. So let's take a look at the chart. Stock Sumo have that?
Yeah, let me break down the chart real fast. Now, bear with me. I don't, I'm not at home, so I'm on the road. I'm just working with what I got here, and I don't have the settings in the chart like I want to. But that's regardless. The chart, we'll break this down real fast. Looking at the RSI, we'll start from top to bottom. RSI looking like it's in an oversold area. Needs to get above that 50 line. Currently, the RSI is sitting at 39.71. I'd like to see that RSI turn around, head north, get through the 50 line. You got the 50-day moving average and the 20-day moving average, which are sitting right around 0037 and 0038. So they're right by each other. And that's going to be a crucial point for the stock. If it can get above those moving averages, that'll be a very positive sign. I'd like to see it get above those moving averages and hold above those moving averages. So you got the 20-day at 0037 and the 50-day at 0038. You can tell that there's a solid level of support. It seems like we're at a bottom, and that level of support looks like it's 0025-ish. It's bounced off there quite a few times. Now, looking at the blue bars on the histogram, they've been on the bullish side. They're at the top side. I'd like to see those blue bars on the histogram build up, and I'd like to see the lines on the PPO separate. Currently, they're kissing. They look like they want to cross. I'd like to see those lines diverge and split apart. But that's all I got for the chart. Great
Cool, man.
spotlight.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting little company. I think these guys really do provide a good service. Um, and they use, pretty much top-notch products as far as, their parking lot maintenance. So as their brand name expands, this thing could really start taking off in an exponential fashion. They're just kind of sitting on that line about to enter that phase as they use this franchise strategy. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next year or two here. Me likey. All right. What else we got hot on the table today?
Awesome.
What was hot? What was hot on Friday?
Oh, I don't really have much to talk about. I had my mind on the Iron Man all weekend. I'm down here in Kentucky, and I really wasn't paying much attention to the markets on Friday. I was traveling down here to Kentucky, and got to see my brother-in-law compete in the Iron Man. Boy, some of these athletes are just incredible shape that they're in to do this crazy triathlon. I couldn't do it myself.
I think I would die. I would literally die. I can't run, man. Just
I was
can't.
exhausted just from walking all day.
Good stuff. All right. Well, there's maybe a couple mentions we can do before it opens up here. UYMG put out some news this morning. Unity Management Group Incorporated. This one closed at 0022 on Friday. Been low dollar volumes traded the last couple of days, but I heard a lot of chatter on it over the weekend, maybe on promotion, so keep that in mind. But they put out some press this morning. Unity Management Group, a business resource and service company, is pleased to announce its wholly owned subsidiary, OnTrack Technology Solutions Incorporated, has successfully completed its prototype pumping system, which is known as the NG pumping system. OTT has been working diligently with its engineers to complete this pumping system on time and on schedule. Looks like the NG pumping system is a green, energy-friendly system that can work with new wells or assist in the efficiency of stripper wells. I believe this is related to oil and natural gas wells. So go check out that press release. Get an idea what they got going on. As I said, it was getting quite a bit of chatter over the weekend as well. Looks like the market's open. Try to pull up some level 2 screens here. And we apologize if it's tough to follow along this morning. We were having some technical issues, but I think we came out all right. Looks like CAGR is trying to move up a little bit higher. I was watching that one mid to late last week. Kind of broke out a little bit. It was getting a lot of volume. Ended up humping the 001 mark. It's 001 by 0011 right now. But this is another one of those companies that's been diluting quite a bit. It can really move with some interest. if they're not releasing shares into the market. Let's see what my scanner's telling me. By the way, have you guys been keeping your eyes on GTGP? Ooh, PRTN. It's the one you guys were calling out.
How has GTGP been doing?
Oh, she's been doing great. Hold on, I'll talk about her in a second. PRTN, Pristine Solutions, is this the one that you mentioned?
Siffy and I were doing a little look on it Friday. We saw the momentum coming in, seen the volume, big block trades and whatnot hit the scanners. So definitely raised our eyebrow and think gapped up big this morning and it's taken off on some big momentum here. A lot of speculation out on this one. We'll definitely keep it on our watch list.
Interesting. All right, yeah, GTGP. Called here at 12 cents. Spotlight at 20 cents. Dollar broke the dollar mark last week, so now is where it gets really interesting and where these things can really move pretty quick. We got $1.15 by $1.20 spread right now and only 8,000 shares traded, but this one is a thin one. You can just tell that the float's locked. We're looking for results on their Mercury testing in the very, very near future here. If they get that EPA benchmark, this thing could literally go nuts. PRTN, we got some massive, massive bids from Burt and ATDF, holding it up at 35 cents. Trading at 36.19 by 36.2 right now. Looks like they put out some press this morning, 61% in the green, 14 million shares traded.
Yeah, opened up at a low of 33.5 after closing around 22.5 cents on Friday. Hit a high of 38 cents so far. Crazy market maker bid support on that bid. I like that. Like that level 2 makeup.
FRCN, morning Spotlight. You got a last trade on 0031, which is up 3.3%, 2.1 million shares traded so far. We got a nice fat, looks like about a 3 million share bid sitting there on 003. Got about 300,000 shares on 0031 bid. We got Maxim on the ask, not showing size at 0032. Looks like we had a opened at 0035, gapped a little bit, touched 004. Now it's coming back down to that 003 mark, filling that gap. Got some bidders stepping up. Got 700,000 shares on 0032 right now. 0038 Maxim is on the ask now.
Well, Haas, I say we wrap things up a little early today. If I had the resources that I have at my home computer station, I'd want to, sit and talk and have some more fun with you, but I'm limited today, limited to the laptop, so I say we wrap it up.
Yeah, just keep your eyes on some of the stocks that we mentioned, FRCN, great spotlight, and make sure you tune in tomorrow. We have a CEO interview with the chairman of Suspect Detection Systems right here, STT Radio Morning Show, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Should be a very interesting interview, and we'll make sure we have everything set up and ready to go. So have a safe trading day, folks. Cheers.
As always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow. STT Live, and we're out.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.